Hi there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and it's time to put together our April Stampa greeting packet. So let me put these cards away. We're gonna start with this card right here. So let me reach into my packet here. Take the thank you card. Here we go. Now my packet might look a little different. I tried to organize it so that when I pull everything out, I just get one card. In your packet, you know, there's two. And I'm only going to show you one just to save time. There we go. I think I got everything for one card out of that packet. So I wanted to show you this piece here. So your packet comes and it's already pre-cut, ready for the pop out, but I want to show you how I did this really quick. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, I'm going to just lay it out and show you. But I took a piece of cardstock here that is 8 inches by 5 1/4, I believe. It's on your paper, I should know that. Let me look on the paper. Yep, by 5 1/4, and then it's scored down here in the middle. So I fold that on that score line. Let me grab my bone folder like this, and that's how I started with the paper. And then I took my stitched rectangle dies. Now you could just do this with the paper trimmer, but I'm a little bit lazy and I like to do things fast and easy. So then I took this, and now with my die cut machine, I would lay down my platform, you know, and your cutting pads, and then I laid, although I used the bigger one, so it's not going to look right because it doesn't fit in the little one, but just for the idea. And then I took my die and I measured about 1 inch, and you could see I did a bunch of them because my washi tape is a mess right now. But I held it down like that, and then when I put my second plate on, I only put my second plate so it wouldn't cut the end. And really, I lied. No, that was right. Doggone it, I had it the right way. I had a brain lapse there for just a second. I laid this down and laid my plate here, so see, it didn't cut this end right here, which would be this part right here. But then that gives you this little flap right here because it cut all of this. This is a fold, and it has this here. I hope that makes sense, but I wanted you to know, in case you want to make more cards, you also, like I said, could just take your paper trimmer and trim that little section right there and make those little cuts. But I did use the stitch rectangle dies. So the first thing we're going to do with our card is we're going to take this piece and we're going to fold it back, and it looks like that. And a bone folder, had a bunch of scraps of paper on my plates, and then I'm going to fold it back the other way. So now it's got a good fold to it, and then when you open it, you can pop that forward, see, and now it folds this way, and you put that good crease right there to get that pop-up on the inside. Now here's where you need to decide, do you want your pop-up to be, and I tried to get it close to the center, but you know when you try to center things, it never gets perfect. So it might be a little low or a little high, and if you want it low on your card, you open it this way. If you want it a little bit higher on your card, you just turn it over, and it would, or you could flip it through. You know, you gotta go and figure out how you want it to be on your card. I like it's a little bit below center, I think, and that's how I want mine. And I'm gonna stamp on this real quick before I do anything so that it lays flat. I am gonna lay my solid butterfly here just for positioning, because he's gonna pop up and be right about there. So I want to stamp up here. And I have my stamp mounted from I'm going to use the Happiest of Birthdays. This It's Your Day, Enjoy It. I'm going to ink that up in some black Memento ink. One more time. And then stamp that down right there. A little bit high in the corner there. It looks like that. Pretty good job. Okay, so while I have my ink out here, I'm going to go ahead and bring in this. This is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. But I want to stamp, and I'm going to use my Stamp-Rite just because I think it's a little bit easier. You also could just put your stamp on a block and put it right there, but I'm going to take my little, whoop, my paper moved. Oh, and I don't need this part of my Stamparatus. I just need a plate and my paper. I'm gonna lay my paper on my Stamparatus, bring in that big wishing you the happiest of birthday stamp, and lay that. And I'm gonna go a little bit low so I have room for my butterfly up here. Lay him about there, pick it up. Oh heavens, that was not good. Move your stuff out of the way. Pick up the plate here, ink up that stamp, and then lay it back down on my paper. Now the cool thing about the Stamparatus that if it doesn't get it totally inked up, I would re-ink it. So if you're not using the Stamparatus, you just might want to practice on a piece of scratch paper first to make sure that your ink or your stamp, especially the first time you use it when it's fresh, you need to make sure your stamp has the ink on it. Okay, one more time because it looks like I missed the center here. It's a big stamp and sometimes it requires lots of ink. There we go. So now mine looks like that. I take it off. I'm going to put the Stamparatus away. We're done with him. Bring in my Designer Series paper and my card front, and go ahead and put my Designer Series paper onto the front of my card. Make sure it opens the right way. Watch me put my, there we go. Like this. Then I'm going to put some liquid glue on the back of this piece, and that's the part that I stamped it. Really, it wouldn't matter which one, but I'm going to work on the back first, and I'm going to put glue all along the back of my card. And you can see this piece now is folded on the inside and it won't be in the way. The liquid glue makes it so I can move it around a little bit, but then when I line it up with that fold, making sure it's even top to bottom, I want to make sure my card will close. It might not open all the way because of this big insert we're putting on the inside, but now look, it's centered nicely there and my card closes. So then I'm going to just open my card and put more glue right here on this piece, and then just close my card down. And there you go. Now you have your pop-up piece to your card. Okay, so then you have this little strip of pink right here. This is cut from the same die that's going to go right there. So I'm going to just put a little bit of liquid glue on here and set that piece. And I'm going to make sure it has a good side and a bad side. I'm going to make sure the good side is up. You might not see it, but just in case, and hold it on there and then close it. Make sure it's straight. There we go, and give it a good rub. Make sure it's stuck really good. So that's going to be what we'll attach our butterfly to. So when you open up your card, it has that base for your butterfly. But let's first attach our two butterflies together. I'm going to just take some liquid glue and put a little liquid glue down the center of his body, and maybe a little bit here and here and here and here, because I don't want him to be totally attached, but I don't want to take any chances of him falling off. And then look, he lines up really pretty right there. Let me make sure I have him lined up. Yep, looking a perfect outline for a really, really pretty butterfly. Now, when you open your card, you want to make sure that you see your butterfly, but when you close your card, that's when you don't want to see him. So I'm going to kind of lay him in there. So I'm going to put glue toward the, well, away from the opening, so toward the right side. You notice I missed a little bit here because I don't want the glue to show when my butterfly's in there. And then I'm going to just lay him down and kind of close the card and hold my butterfly. Now when I open it, it's there, but when I close it, he doesn't peek out right here. I hope that makes sense. Look how cute. Pretty card. Amy Taylor showed me this card and it's really beautiful. So thank you, Amy. Just a little ink if you want to go see her videos. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up the front. We're going to take some dimensionals, or at least I am. You could also lay this flat if you would rather have a flat card, maybe for mailing purposes or something. You could just lay it flat on the front. I like the bump. I'm going to do dimensionals. Lay that right here. There we go. And now it's time just to put that cute little butterfly on there. Now last time I put my butterfly there. Do I want it here? You have to decide. I think this time I'm going to put my butterfly in the center at the top. So just with a little bit of liquid glue down his tummy. Well, really it's his back. And just lay that right there. Pretty. And then I'm going to use my Take a Pick tool and take these dimensions. Now you have 6, 3 for each card. So I'm going to take one big one. Oh, and I might not be able to use my Take a Pick tool because of the little piece of plastic backing. So I'm just going to peel it off and put one here. And then I'm going to put these two kind of centered, kind of together, not that far apart. Right there. And then the third one I'm going to put down here. And just this card, that's how I did it here. This card, I did it that way. So it's totally up to you. And believe it or not, look, we're already done with our first card. Hopefully you're done with your first 2 cards. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the next card that uses the same stamp set. So that would be this card here. This is the packet looks like. The card looks like this. Let me move some things out of the way. I have a butterfly here and some bling that, okay, there it looks like this. Let me see if I can get just these pieces out of this packet. There's a bunch, in fact, I gotta take it all out. I went ahead, because the die cuts out 6 little buttons each time you run the die through the machine. So I believe in your packet you have 12 of these tiny little buttons like this. And you won't need all of them unless you decide to decorate the inside like I'm going to do, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, this must be card number 2. Make sure I have these. Could be card number 2. This could be card number 2. This could be card number 2. Okay, so I think we have all of our packets. Since I have the ink out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp. And with that same It's Your Day, Enjoy, I'm going to stamp that on the inside, or on this piece of Whisper White here. Stamp that right there on the inside of my card. Yay! And then with the little same stamp set, this little happy birthday right here, I'm going to ink that up. Make sure I got some ink on there and stamp that in the center. Nice. And then I am going to fussy cut that little square. Just give it a little border around that black piece. If you don't like the little border, then just cut directly on the black. It just needs to be a little bit smaller than that piece of paper, which is really a scrap that I gave you, so it looks like that. Okay, then with your trimmer, you have a piece like this, is a long piece that's stitched on all 4 sides. And now this is another die in the set, but we need to cut this down into 2 pieces. So I'm going to lay this at 2 3/4 of an inch and cut it. Let me make sure. 2, and now I'm having second thoughts, but I think that's what it looks too long. Nope, I'm glad I checked. It's 2 1/4. So whew, we're going to cut this down to 2 1/4 inch right there, and then just cut that off. And then from this end, because you see this end now is rough, this end is nicely cut. So I want 2 pieces that are nicely cut. So I'm going to turn it over and cut that other end down to 2 1/4. And now this piece here is trash, but we need these two, one for each card. So we'll bring our card base in. We're done. We got all those little buttons. Let me show you what I did with those. Let's do this. Let's put the Designer Series paper just right here on the front of our card. Just like that. And then carefully, this piece is very delicate. On the back, I'm going to put a dimensional. Where'd my dimensionals? Here they are. On each of those collar pieces, right in the center. Take those backs off. Now you can see that this side up here is like flat and with your points. Your points are going to go down. The other side is going to line up with the top of your card, just like that. So there's his collar. And then this piece here, I'm going to find, this is the nice piece. This is the piece where I cut. And I want the piece where I cut to be at the top so I can tuck it under those little collar of my shirt. So I put a little bit of liquid glue, and then I'm going to just tuck it up under there and then make sure it's straight. And look, you can use the lines on your Designer Series paper to make sure it's straight and tucked underneath his collar, and it looks just like that. We're also going to take this little piece, this is the top of his pocket, and to make it easier, I'm going to put the glue on the actual pocket like this, just at the very top, and then lay that little piece of pocket over the top of it. And it decorates the top of your pocket. Let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of that, and some dimensionals on the back of the happy birthday that we fussy cut, and attach those to our card. I'm going to put my happy birthday down here in the corner, and I'm going to put my pocket just a little bit over here to the side. Again, I'm going to use the lines on the Designer Series paper to make sure that my two pieces are straight. Okay, then with these little things here, these little buttons, now I put on 3. Oh, here, I'll show you my card. I put 3 little buttons, and you can't see them in the video, but believe it or not, they have a good side and a bad side. So I'm going to turn my 3 buttons over here to the good side. And then I'm going to just put a dab of glue here, here, and here. That looks pretty good to me. Using my pickup tool, I'll just pick that up and lay that on my button. Now, if you get a lot more glue here than what you want, all you have to do is let that liquid glue dry a little bit, and it'll be sticky, but it won't gush out everywhere. And you won't have glue all over your card. There's number 2, and then look, there's number 3. So there's the front of our card. Let's go ahead and attach this to the inside. Nope. And then here's where we can use, I think we still have 9 little buttons, 2, 4, 6, yeah, we have a lot of buttons left. So I'm going to flip them over to the good side again. Yeah, because here's my 6 for the next card. And I'm going to do, just instead of bling on the inside, I'm going to use those little buttons just to decorate the inside of my card. So I put the 3 little pieces or dots of glue, and I'm going to do the same thing like we did to the front. And just attach those little buttons there. So instead of bling, we have little buttons to decorate the inside of our card. Okay, and there we go. Now we have card number 2. So let me get rid of my little, all my little pieces here for this card, and we'll move on to the next card, which will be the black and white one. Okay. So the packet looks like this. I have my happy birthday mounted. That happy birthday is from the Happy Thoughts stamp set. Let me get all of our pieces out here. See if I can grab just the ones I need for this packet, or for this card. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stamp with our black ink and stamp that happy birthday right there on that oval. I'm going to practice once on a piece of scrap paper. Well, maybe, oh, here's my scrap paper. Like, I can't find my scrap paper. Got a piece of scratch paper here. I'm going to just stamp my happy birthday. Yep, it looks good. And then stamp him down here. And I might get my head in the camera, excuse me. Put my little happy birthday right there on my oval. Nice. Okay, let that set aside, maybe dry a little bit. Let's go ahead with our card here. If you wanted here, you could stamp one of the greetings from the stamp, or from the stamp set on your inside of your card. I'm going to leave mine blank. I'll add it when I figure out who I'm going to send my card to. I'm going to go ahead and attach my Designer Series paper. To the basic black cardstock here. So this is our first layer. And then I'm going to take this really pretty fancy cut die here piece here and put 3 dimensionals on the back. And then I'm going to layer that right here, center it side to side. I want it a little bit above center, top to bottom, and I'm going to lay it down right there. Okay, then I'm going to just fold these over. Now, if you wanted to, you could take a glue dot to hold these down. I'm not going to worry about them right now. I'll take care of those when I glue the cardstock to the card base, but I just want to make sure, yep, that looks good just like that. So now when I lay my tape on the back of here to attach my basic black to the card base, I can just lay that down and then take this piece here and attach it to the front of my card. So it looks like that. Then on the back of that stamped piece, I'm going to take 3 dimensionals and put them along there. And like I said, I say 3. You could use as many as you want. You could also just put all of this flat. I don't know, maybe you like the flat cards for mailing and you wouldn't have to use any dimensionals at all. So I'm going to take that piece, not upside down, and lay that right in the center of our pretty die cut piece. It looks like that. And then last, we're going to take these little matte black gems, I think they're called, and lay them. I moved my, here it is. I'm going to use my pick tool here to move that around where I want it. But center it right here on these little edges. Right there. Let's see if I can pick, there we go. Ooh, this one, right there. And there you go. So there's your cards all done. It's pretty, huh? I think that die cut piece is very pretty. It's part of the Band Together. I think that's what that set is called. It's on the retire list, so if you want it, you got to get it now. But it's a really pretty die cut piece. Okay, let's move on to the last card. Let me move everything out of the way. So for this card, I'm going to use the Thinking of You. Again, that's from the Happy Thoughts stamp set. Get all my pieces here. Uh-oh. So I need my Scotch tape, and now my Scotch tape has disappeared. All right, it was right here, and now it's gone. Maybe it'll show up by the time I'm ready for it. So you have 2 pieces of baker's twine. We just need 1 piece for each card. We're gonna stamp on this circle with that thinking of you using the black Memento ink. I keep looking around waiting for my tape to show up because I'm sure it's like a snake. It's right in front of me and it's gonna bite me as soon as I find it. But anyway, we're gonna stamp that down on that circle, that little thinking of you. Let that ink sink in. I should have practiced. Nope, it looks just fine. Okay, let me find my still no. Okay, here's my, I didn't even show you the sample card, but it doesn't matter. Here's the sample card. I take this and glue it flat, or run the tape runner flat onto this piece. Fits in nicely so you can still see that stitched edge around the die cut piece. This is the piece we need to bring in our paper trimmer. So for this piece, we're gonna cut it down. So we're gonna take, and I hope I can get it all in my paper trimmer, and I'm gonna line up this corner and this corner with the blade of my trimmer, with that groove where the blade's gonna go through, and we're gonna cut it in half diagonally. Okay, get my cutting blade here. Whoop, now I moved it. Let me make sure. Take my time, get it right, and cut that right in half. Okay, now I'm gonna hold those 2 pieces together and I'm gonna turn it like this and do it again. I have these pieces lined up where they were. I'm gonna put this corner with this corner, or I mean, sorry, this corner with this track and this corner with the same track down here, and then I'm gonna cut it in half again. So now I have 4 pieces of cardstock, or 4 pieces of the Designer Series paper cut like that. And on this piece, this little basic gray, I'm gonna lay my top and just lay it in place to see placement first. And then this one I'm gonna turn over and put it here, so it's really the back side of the Designer Series paper. This one's gonna stay the same. And this one I'm gonna flip over and put it over here. So it's gonna look like that. Now we need to tape that down. Okay, so I'm gonna try to leave it as it was and tape these into place. A little bit of adhesive here. And I'm not gonna press them down until I'm sure I have them where I want them. I'm gonna kind of just set them there. And that way, if I need to move them at the end, I can move them around a little bit. Oh, sticky, sticky stuff. Okay. And then this one right there. Try to just set it down. Don't press too hard yet. And then we'll just keep going all the way around. Look how pretty that is just by cutting that Designer Series paper and placing it back on there. That way you get to enjoy both sides of your Designer Series paper. And this one here. And I'm gonna go ahead, okay, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. I'm gonna go ahead and lay those down. It's just the background piece. It just adds some character to our card. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in this, oh no, we need to attach our string first, which is what I need my Scotch tape for. And I'm so embarrassed. Here I tell you to have Scotch tape and now I can't find it. So I'm gonna just use my tape runner. But we're gonna take our linen thread and I'm gonna put a little bit of tape here and tape him on there and then run him around 3 times. And then a little bit of tape here. I need to get my new tape here. That one I think is running low. Let me try this one. Oh, and this one's brand new. He's not gonna work either. There we go. And lay that down. This is where I was saying you could use Scotch tape to hold those in place, which would have been really nice if I could find my Scotch tape, and I can't, so never mind. And then now you can position them exactly where you want them. There we go. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this piece. And then I think to hold those, because I didn't have my Scotch tape, I'm going to hold my twine down with my dimensionals just to give it double security so it doesn't come loose. That would be embarrassing about the time I hand my birthday card out, or thinking of you, this is thinking of you, and my twine comes loose. So we're going to just add this to the front of our card. Right there, like that. Some dimensionals on the back of this piece. Lay this on the front of our card. Now's a good time to get your words straight. And then if you want to stamp on this one, I would stamp it before, but I don't want anything on there. My thinking of you cards are usually blank in the front, so I can write a message. And then I'm going to just attach this to the inside of my card. And there you go. There's all of our cards. Let me bring them all back in. I hope you were able to get all your cards done. If you have any questions, be sure and reach out. I will try to answer them all. If you had any problems, I would love to help you out. I think that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for buying my Stamp a Greeting kit, and I hope you'll look at next month's kit. Bye-bye.